Hey, hello everyone, this is Anupma. Hope you are doing well. So, today we are going to read a very beautiful book that is Karma Yoga and written by Swami Vivekanand. Okay, so first we will read about this book and then we'll go to the summary. Why should you read this summary? Then, do you feel burned out or unmotivated at work? Do you feel like you are not appreciated? Do you feel like you deserve more recognition? If your answer is yes, then this is the book for you. Swami Vivekanand will teach you about love of work, duty, and greatness. You will learn how to be more productive and fulfilled with what you do. Who should read this summary? Wage earners, member of the workforce, housewives, breadwinners, anyone who want to learn Karma Yoga. About the author, if you want to know, then Swami Vivekanand is a great monk and a teacher. He is the first to preach Vedanta and yoga to the modern world. He traveled all over America and Europe to give lectures. Swami Vivekanand believed that to serve God, you should serve the people. His teachings are valued not only in India but also in other parts of the world. So let's go to the summary of this book. Introduction. This book is a collection of lectures given by Swami Vivekanand in New York. He spent 2.5 years in America, where Swami was greatly received. His students raised money so that they could rent an apartment. It is where Swami held free lectures every day. Compiled in this book are all his lectures on Karma Yoga. You will learn about the importance of work and duty. You will learn how to love your work and expecting nothing in return. You will learn how to accept duty and fulfill it with your whole heart. Karma is its effect on character. Karma came from the Sanskrit word kri. It literally means to do. Karma also means the effects of all actions. In relation to yoga, karma means work. A man's character is the sum of all his experiences, whether it's pleasure or pain, happiness or misery, all of these shapes his character. These experiences move him from ignorance to knowledge. What is the true motive behind your actions? People always work certain motives. Some people work for fame, some people work for power, others work for wealth, some people work to go to heaven, others work for penance. But the most noble of all is to work for the sake of work. For example, there are people who help the poor people. They don't work because of fame or recognition. They just do it because they believe in good and they like to do good. Does a man who works for work's sake gain anything? Yes, in fact, he gains the most. Unselfishness is good for the body, mind, and soul. But it takes a great amount of self-control to practice it. Imagine working for 5 minutes without any selfish motive. That is already hard. It is hard to work without thinking of any reward. And so, unselfishness is a manifestation of power. To work for 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days without any motive proves a great amount of self-restraint. It takes a strong will and a strong character. Try as much to work without selfishness, without thinking of any reward. A great man plants a lot of good seeds. He takes care of them every day, but he doesn't sit and wait for the plants to flower and bear fruits. The man just keeps on working and planting more good seeds. If you want to help a person, do not think about what his reaction would be. Do not wait for a thank you or a return for the favor. If you want to do good work, just keep on it. Instead of waiting for rewards, think of more good things to do. Today, you are driven by selfish motives. But with practice, you will be able to perform selfless work, unselfish work. Try to practice self restraint every day. Soon it will become your habit, then it will be part of your character. Each is great in his own place. Each of us has our own roles and ideals in life. One cannot judge or impose his own ideals to another. If this is the role given to you, strive to fulfill it at the best way you can. Do not try to be somebody else. You are doing well by fulfilling your own role and bringing yourself as closer to the truth. For example, a householder must serve his parents, his wife, children, relatives, and neighbors at the best way he can. He must provide all their needs and protect them. That is his duty. A sannyasin, meanwhile, should fully renounce the world. He should not think of taking a wife or any possession. It is his duty to worship, to study, and serve God. The householder and the sannyasin cannot be told to take up the other's role. Each of them should do his own responsibilities. By doing so, the man achieves greatness. There was once a king who asked all the sannyasin who came to his land, "Who is the greater man? The sannyasin who renounces the world or the householder who lives in the world and fulfills his duties?" Some of the wise men answered the sannyasin is greater. The king then demands a proof. When they cannot do it, the king orders them to finally marry and become householders. Some of them answered, "The householder is greater." When these wise men cannot bring proof, the king also told them to get settled and start a family. Now there arrives a young sannyasin who answered that both the sannyasin and the householder are great. Each of them is great in his own place. The king then said, "Prove it. Come and take a journey with me so that I can prove this is to you." The young sannyasin said, and so the king left his land and all his servants to travel with the sannyasin. They walked for miles and miles until finally they arrived to a great kingdom. In that beautiful land, the princess is looking for the right man to marry. She hosts a ceremony every day to find the perfect man. The princess is very beautiful. The man she chooses will rule with beside her when the time comes. But she has rejected all her suitors. Many men has presented themselves to her, but still the princess didn't find what she was looking for. Then one day she saw a very handsome sannyasin. The monk just stopped by the kingdom to watch, but the princess fell in love with him at once. She went down from her throne and approached the handsome sannyasin. She put a garland around his neck, which means that she had chosen him. The handsome sannyasin was bewildered through. He threw away the garland. He exclaimed, "What is this nonsense? Can't you see that I am a sannyasin? Marriage means nothing to me." The minister said, "Young man, if you marry the princess, you will be the ruler of this whole kingdom." But the sannyasin is not moved. He quickly turned around and ran away. The princess cannot take it. She is madly in love. She said, "If I don't get married with this man, I will die." And so The princes ran after the handsome monk. Now the king and the sannyasin who came into this land were observing the events all along. They decided to follow the princess and her beloved into the forest. The handsome sannyasi knows the forest so well. He found his way out of it and out of the kingdom. He continued on his scared journey. The princess looked everywhere. She is very exhausted. She sat under the tree and cried for her lost love. She is lost and she doesn't know what to do. The king and the sannyasin approached her. They offered to help her find the way. But first, they must rest because it's already dark. They can leave the forest in the morning. And so, the wandering king, the sannyasin, and the princess rested under a big tree. There on the top of that tree lived a bluebird, his wife, and 3 kids. The bluebird looked down from the nest and saw the 3 humans. The bird said to his wife, "My dear, what are we going to do? We have guests and we do not have fire for them. They must be freezing in this winter night." So the bird flew down and picked up a burning branch. He carried it with his beak and brought it in front of the guests. The humans added more branches to it and made a nice bonfire. But still, the bluebird was worried. The bird told his wife, "My dear, what are we going to do? We have no food to offer our guests. They must be really hungry." And so, what the bird did was to offer his own self. He plugged straight into the fire. The 3 humans tried to save him, but the fire roasted the father bird at once. The mother bird thought that there are 3 guests. One bird wouldn't be enough for them. She thought that it is her duty to help her husband. And so the mother bird plunged into the fire as well. The 3 little birds are left in the nest. They saw what their parents did. They all agreed that they should carry on the duty of father bird and mother bird. The 3 little birds plunged down and let the fire consume them too. There are now 5 roasted birds, but the king, the sannyasin, and the princess cannot bring themselves to it. They were amazed at what the birds did. All 3 of them endured their hunger and let the night pass by. At first light, the 2 men helped the princess to go home. She returned to her kingdom and her father. The sannyasin now explained to the king, "My dear king, now you have learned a good lesson. Each person can be great in his own place. There is no need to impose the duty of one person to another. If you want to live in the world, you should be like the birds. They are ready to sacrifice themselves in service of others. If you want to renounce the world, you should be like the handsome sannyasin. The most beautiful woman and the richest kingdom meant nothing to him. Fulfill the duty that is given to you. Strive to be the best, then you can live in peace and be closer to God." The secret of work. Expect nothing in return. That is the secret of work. That is how you will succeed in any career or vocation you choose. Just love your work. Love what you do. A slave is bound in chains. That's why he drags his feet to work. His products are low in quality because he is just forced to do it. And so, work like a master. Do your best and just be happy on your task. Once there were 5 rulers who gave a huge feast for the poor. They also showered the poor with plenty gifts of food, clothes, and money. This is in celebration of great battle that the nation has won. The people of the land felt a deep admiration for the 5 rulers. Then there arrived a strange mongoose. Half of his body is gold, while half of his body is brown. The mongoose went to the middle of the great hall and spoke, "All of you are frauds. This is no sacrifice," he said. The people think the mongoose is crazy. They told him, "Can't you see the many gifts showered to the poor?" The rulers performed the most wonderful sacrifice we have seen. The mongoose began to tell his story. He came from a small village. There the mongoose met a Brahmin and his family. He has a wife and 2 sons. The Brahmin's family is poor. They only make small money from teaching and preaching in the village. They live in the simplest way. But then there became a famine which lasted for 3 years. The Brahmin and his family suffered even more. They had nothing to eat for several days. One day the father came home with a bag of flour. He is very fortunate to have it. The Brahmin divided the flour into 4 equal parts so his family could have a decent meal. They prepared the flour and got settled at the table. Just as they were about to eat, someone knocked at the door. The Brahmin opened it and saw an old man. Come in, sir." "You are our guest," the Brahmin said. "It is Indian custom to treat a guest very well and to serve him at the best way possible." And so the Brahmin invited the guest into the table and offered his meal. The old man finished the food at once. He said that he had been traveling for 10 days and he has not eaten anything. The old man is still very hungry. The wife also offered her meal since the Brahmin has nothing to give anymore. The guest also ate it up, but still he is hungry. The older brother offered his meal also. He said that it is his duty to help his father on his obligation. When the guest has finished the 3rd portion, he is still hungry, and so the younger brother offered his. Finally, the guest was full. He thanked the family for feeding him and went on his way. Now they had nothing to eat. The very next day, the Brahmin, his wife, and 2 sons died because of starvation. That is when the mongoose came into their house. The mongoose saw few bites of flour left on the table. He rolled his body on those. He was surprised because his feathers turned to gold. The sacrifice that the Brahmin's family did for the guest is golden. But the mongoose cannot find anything like it in the whole world. That is why only half of his body is gold. A work that is done with love is gold. It is free of any selfish motives. It is free of any negative feelings. The world would be a better place if more people loved their work. What is duty? Once there were a young sannyasin who lived in the middle of the forest. He spent his days meditating and practicing yoga. One day he rested under a tree. Suddenly, dry leaves fell over his head. The sannyasin looked up. He saw a crane and a crow arguing on top of the tree. They are scattering dry leaves everywhere. The sannyasin got angry. He shouted, "How dare you throw leaves at me?" He looked angrily at the 2 birds. The sannyasin was surprised. The crane and the crow burned upon his gaze. They were turned into ashes. The sannyasin became very happy of his power. The time came for him to leave the forest. He went to the town to beg for food. He knocked on a door and said, "Mother, please give me some bread." The woman inside the house replied, "Wait a minute, my son." The sannyasi thought, "How dare this woman to make me wait? She has no idea how much power I possess." The sannyasi didn't voice it out, but then the woman spoke again. "Son, do not think too much of yourself. I am not a crane or a crow." The sannyasi waited for a minute more. When the woman finally came out, he asked, "Mother, how did you know about the birds in the forest?" The woman replied, "Son, I have no knowledge about the yoga and you practice. I'm just a simple housewife. I asked you to wait because I'm serving my sick husband." The woman explained that all her life she strived hard to fulfill her duty. When she was young, she served her parents. Now that she is married, she served her husband. That is all the yoga she practices. She became enlightened. That is why she can read the sannyasi mind. The woman knows what he did in the forest. She advised the sannyasi to go to the next town. There is a Vaidya there who can give the sannyasi more wisdom. The sannyasi thought, "Why should I seek a Vaidya to get more wisdom?" But he went to the next town anyway. He arrived at the market and there he saw the big fat Vaidya. The butcher is cutting his meat and tending to his customers. The sannyasi thought, "God help me, why am I going to talk to Vaidya? He must be the incarnation of the devil." As the sannyasi was standing there, the Vaidya saw him and spoke, "Swami, are you the one that woman sent here? Please wait a little. I must serve my customers." When the Vaidya is done, he picked up all his earnings and asked the sannyasi to follow him. They went to the Vaidya's home. He asked the sannyasi to wait once again. At home, the butcher took care of his old parents. He bathed them both and changed their clothes. He cooked for them and fed them well. He made sure that they are comfortable. After that, the Vaidya talked to the sannyasi. He said, "Swami, what can I do for you?" The sannyasi asked for the Vaidya some questions about God and the soul. The butcher derived his answer from the Bhagavad Gita of the Mahabharata. The sannyasi was surprised. It seemed like the Vaidya has great intelligence and wisdom. The sannyasi asked, "Sir, why are you in that body? You have deep knowledge and yet you do very filthy work." The Vaidya replied, "Son, the truth is that no duty is filthy, ugly, or impure. I am born in these circumstances. As a boy, I learned quick how to be a butcher. I try my best to fulfill all my duties. The Vaidya does his responsibilities as a householder. He serves his father and mother and at the best way he can. He is not a sannyasi. He did not renounce the world to live in a forest. Yet the Vaidya feels a great sense of duty and he gives his all to accomplish it." The lesson here is to treat work like a prayer. Focus on it. Think about your work and nothing else. Just keep on working. Do not think of rewards. Do not think of the hardship or the results. In the story, the woman and the Vaidya performed their duty with their whole hearts, and because of that, they were enlightened. The worker who is attached to the results may complain about his duty. He will not be happy because he is seeking for some recognition. But for the unattached worker, the duty is happiness on itself. He accepts the duty given to him and does his best. He lives in peace and contentment because he embraced his duty. Who we help ourselves, not the world. Once there was a poor man who desires wealth. He heard from somewhere he should get hold of a ghost. He could order that ghost to give him money or any possession he likes. And so the poor man asked the help of a sage. He told the sage that he really needs to capture a ghost. The sage told him not to bother with it. The poor man should just go home. But the poor man still insisted. He kept on begging the sage, "Sir, please, I need to have a ghost. Please help me." He said. The sage was annoyed. He finally gave instruction to the man. "Take this charm with you. Hold it tight while saying the magic words. A ghost will show itself to you. He will follow everything you say. But remember, ghosts are dangerous. You must keep the ghost busy. You must always give him something to work on. If you fail, that ghost will take your life." The poor man said that it will be easy. He has many things to ask from the ghost. He will not fail. And so the poor man went deep into the forest. He held the charm and said the magic words. Suddenly a huge ghost is floating in front of him. The ghost spoke, "You have captured me with your magic. Now you must keep me busy or else I will kill you." The poor man gave his order. "Ghost, build me a palace in just a second." "The palace is there," the ghost said. "It's done." "Ghost, shower me with money and jewelries." In just a blink of an eye, the man is surrounded by gold, silver, and gems. "It's done," the ghost said. "Ghost, bring this forest to the ground and build a city on top of it." In just a second, the city is right there before the man's eyes. "It's done," the ghost said. "Is there anything else?" Now the man is scared. He cannot think of anything to ask from the ghost. "Give me something to do now or else I will eat you." The man is terrified. He ran as fast as he could. He did not stop until he found the sage. "Sir, please protect me." He explained to the sage that he has no orders anymore from the ghost and that it is going to kill him. The ghost arrived then, and the man hid behind the sage. "I will eat you," the ghost kept on saying. Finally, the sage told the man, "Listen carefully. Look for a dog with a curly tail. Take your sword out and cut the dog's tail. Give the tail to the ghost and order him to go straighten it out." The man did what the sage said. He gave the curly tail to the ghost and said, Straighten that out for me." Every time that the ghost tried, the dog's tail kept on curling off. He cannot make it straight no matter what he does. Several days passed by and still the ghost couldn't do it. Finally, the ghost was exhausted. He said, "I never had a difficult problem like this in my existence. Let me have a compromise with you." The ghost told the man, "If you set me free right now, you can keep all the riches I have given you, and I promise never to harm you." The man is pleased with the agreement. He let the ghost go. The world we live in is like the dog's curly tail. Many noble men have tried to straighten it since the beginning of his history. But once they let go, the world curls up again. Therefore, it is better not to concern yourself with the immorality and mistakes of the world. Just let it be. Instead, focus on the things you can control. Focus on improving yourself and your work. Strive to be calm, to be fair, and to be love. To love. Serve as many people as you can. The world would still be curled, but it is already a noble duty to straighten yourself. Conclusion: no matter who you are and what you do, you can achieve greatness. You don't need to be a monk. Even if you are a housewife or a wage earner, you can be enlightened. What's important is to serve with all your heart. Work for work's sake. When you don't expect any reward, then you can truly be happy. You will know peace and you will be free. If you rest there at the end of the summary, thank you so much for listening this beautiful book, beautiful summary. and tell me, did you like this book and what is your favorite line? Please comment below and don't forget to like, share and subscribe this video. Please subscribe this channel and press the bell icon for notification. Thank you so much. We'll meet with a very interesting story next. Till then, tata, take care, bye bye.